Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades, and welcome to another video. So not long ago I showed you how to take this snowblower off of an XT1 or an XT2 Cub Cadet lawn tractor. And then of course I mounted the deck on it so we got it ready for spring, summer grass cutting. But now that we've got this snowblower off, how the hell are you supposed to store it? It's 7 feet tall from the floor to the top of this handle. If it's laying down, it's going to stick out 7 feet. This is almost 6 feet tall. The frame is almost 6 feet tall. As this thing sits, it takes up a huge amount of room. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what I do to get this thing ready for storage so it doesn't take up quite so much room in my shed. Welcome back. All right, so like I said, it's 7 feet tall to the top of the lift handle there. These handles are all quite long. The frame here is quite long. So the best way that I have found to store this in a more compact manner is to literally take these handles off and take that frame off in such a way that it's easy to put together in the fall when it comes time to remount the snowblower and still not take up quite so much room. So let's go ahead and relocate the camera, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Alright, so the first handle we're going to take off, and it's quite honestly the easiest handle to take off, is the lifting handle. And it's this big long handle that, like I said, sticks up 7 feet from the floor when it's mounted to the snowblower head. So let's go ahead and let's take that lift handle off. The first thing you need to do to take this lift handle off is you need to remove this cable right here from the locking mechanism. So because what this does is when you squeeze the trigger, it pulls this lock in and out, and that's what locks the head in the up or down position. And it's quite simple. Just grab a crescent wrench, put it on this jam nut right here, and go ahead and loosen this jam nut up until it's loose enough where you can actually take and remove the cable, and then the cable quite literally just falls right off. All right, now to get this handle off, you got to take these 3 bolts out. It's a 14 millimeter socket, and you'll need a wrench, cool little factoid tip, a 9/16 wrench, and a 14 millimeter. They're the same thing. So go ahead and just spin the nuts off. And then you can just remove it. Now it's really a good idea to go ahead and put the nuts and the bolts back in the holes again, just so you don't lose them. These are locking nuts. After a few years of using these things, you may have to replace the locking nuts because fiber lock nuts, they're really a one-time use thing, but I use them for a couple of years and then I just replace them. And then I go ahead and just bump them up a little bit so that they don't come off. And there you go, that handle is removed. Okay, so the first thing I remove on this one is I remove this this connection here, which actually rotates the chute around. You just have to pull that cotter key out and then go ahead and just remove this flexible line, and that's basically disconnected. Now I went ahead and I zip tied all my cables on here just because I don't like them flopping around in the wind, so quite obviously I'm going to have to cut these zip ties and replace them again next fall. Okay, finally we're going to have to take the control group off here, and it's very, very simple. It's just 2 nuts. These are carriage bolts right here, so you don't need a backer wrench. These 2 nuts, once you take those off, the whole control group just comes right off. And it's a 1/2 inch socket to get that done. If you're in a pinch, a 13 millimeter will do it. It's just a little bit big. 1/2 inch is the ideal size. Then once again, I like to put the washers and the nuts back into place so they don't get lost. Right here are 4 nuts, and these 4 nuts hold that whole handle on that has the control group on it. The beauty of these is these bolts are actually welded to the frame, so you don't have to worry about having a backer wrench on them. Again, your 14mm socket, just grab onto the handle up here nice and high and go ahead and zip those nuts out of there. Once you have those 4 nuts out, you can go ahead and just lift the handle right off. Okay, so finally we got to take the main frame off. Again, it's that 14mm wrench and 14mm socket. It's 4 bolts, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Now this spring is going to kind of get in the way a little bit, but you can work around it. You don't have to unhook it. You can get the socket on there without taking the spring off. So once you've got all the bolts loose, go ahead and grab the frame up nice and high. Go ahead and just give a wiggle on the frame and work those bolts out. I try to do the top ones first. Hang on to it really good. Take the bottom one out on this side, the bottom one out on that side, and the frame comes right off. And then once again, as per usual, put the bolts right back in the same holes again so you know where they came from. Finally, just to get it all bundled up and in a nice little package, I like to take a bunch of zip ties, and I like to zip tie everything to kind of together so that nothing's really flopping around and there's less of a chance of cables or something like that getting kinked or wrecked. So just zip tie some things together wherever you can and hold everything in one spot so when it's sitting in storage, nothing gets wrecked. And there you have it. Now we have a much more compact package, something that is much easier to find room in your shed to store, and it's actually not that hard, that difficult to do. You need a crescent wrench, you need a 14mm socket, you need a 14mm combination wrench, you need a 13mm socket, and some zip ties, and that's really all you need to get this job done. And you can break this thing down and make it a much easier package to store. And that's the project for tonight. Now, if you find this kind of content useful, and if you found this video useful, you'd be doing me a huge favor by hitting that like and subscribe button down below. Make sure you smash that notification bell so you get notified of upcoming videos. And we are coming up close on 5,000 subscribers. We're going to do another giveaway at 5,000 subscribers. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you hit that notification bell. With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades. As always, thank you for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video.